More of the Zach Gelb Show on Fox Sports 920 The Jersey.
All right, welcome back in. Draft night is upon us. We all know the Sixers will be getting Markelle Fultz at number 1. We'll see if they try to get back in the first round or what they will do with their bevy of second-round picks tonight. 609-919-9200 is the number. Let's go out to the phone lines and welcome in Elan Vinokurov, who does an excellent job for Scout U to get some more perspective on tonight's NBA draft. And Elan Vinokurov joins us right now. Elan, appreciate a few minutes. Thanks for the time. And what's happening, my friend?
It's a crazy day. Draft day. Rumors feel like they're moving around at a career-high pace. And some of these trade offers and what teams are looking for are just getting outlandish. But it's a fun day, and I'm excited to see what happens.
What's the biggest juicy rumor right now? I have to imagine it's Porzingis, right?
Yeah, I mean, the Porzingis trade stuff is just crazy. I mean, it's to see a guy that young with that much potential who was viewed so highly only a year ago and still is by many people, for that guy to be available right now it kind of feels unheard of. So just the asking price and the level of talent of a player of caliber being available today on draft day, it's a crazy rumor. It's crazy.
When the draft comes and goes by the end of tonight, is Kristaps Porzingis on the Knicks or is he somewhere else?
I think he's still on the Knicks. I think ultimately if you're the Knicks, you still have the leverage, and I don't think you need to sell him for anything less than $1.25 on the dollar. You cannot sell him low.
I agree, and I think the asking price is going to be very high, and I'd be surprised if he gets dealt. But I saw that interview last night that Phil Jackson did on MSG. I'm not a big Phil Jackson fan, and I'm just blown away by how a guy that's won that much has been such a disaster, really, in New York. And I didn't like the move from the start, but he's looking very clueless right now. You see the Jay Williams report that he fell asleep, Phil Jackson, in a workout with the top 15 prospect. What's going on with Phil Jackson, and do you have any confidence that he could turn this thing around on the last 2 years of his contract?
I kind of feel like he's playing a little bit of chicken with superstars, and with a Carmelo Anthony, I somewhat understand it. With a guy like Kristaps Porzingis, I think he just picked the wrong kid to do it with. There's just no reason to be doing that. When Kristaps Porzingis is upset, he probably has a reason to be, and I think you should work it out with him because the kid's just such a talent. With a Carmelo Anthony, if you want to try to force him to, waive that no-trade clause and get out of town, I get it. But I think he just picked the wrong kid to be playing chicken with because it's someone that fans love, and there's no reason to give up this early on Kristaps Porzingis. So I don't totally understand it, but I don't know. I mean, he was a coach before. He wasn't necessarily the guy making all calling all the shots. I think it's a different role for him.
And it's shocking. Like I said, I didn't really like the move going into it, bringing in Phil. I thought they should have went in another direction. But you look at it, and I said it in the open of the show today, Ringling Brothers and Barnum Bailey Circus may have closed down, but the Knicks are still open. Whether it was the cryptic tweets this year and just the way he's been a terrible communicator, and now Porzingis isn't even picking up the phone. I'm not giving Porzingis a pass. He should have went to the meeting. But it just seems like this thing is not going to be able to be saved, and it seems like the rest of the league is taking notice to it, and I don't see why anyone would want to join the Knicks right now.
No, I think it's definitely an organization that, if they could get 2 additional picks in this year's lottery, I would do that if I was them. I mean, there'd have to be more included in that, but if they could land 2 lottery picks in 2017 for Kristaps Porzingis, you're now going to get a chance to get 3 lottery picks because they're going to have their own, and those are 3 guys you're going to have on a rookie contract in year 1, and you can try to get them to buy into whatever Knicks culture.
Elan, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you were just breaking up for a second.
I was just saying you're not going to get free agents to join this team right now. You're better off trying to find 3 rookies that are going to want to rebuild the Knicks culture.
Elan Vinokurov with us right now from Scout U on the Zach Gelb Show. All right, let's get into the Sixers. This is a Sixers team. They made the deal over the weekend, and now they have the number 1 overall pick. Just on the individual alone with Markelle Fultz, give me your scouting report on Fultz.
I love him. He's the best talent in the draft. He's somebody that can score at every level in college, and that ability will translate I think he makes the game look easy, which often makes it seem like he's not going 100%, and sometimes he's not. But he didn't necessarily have to, and he posted some of the best numbers we've ever seen for a freshman. So this is somebody that's going to get to the league, is going to need to learn how to play with more intensity. That's going to help him defensively. On offense, I think he's going to settle in really nicely next to Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. He's going to be able to share point guard duties, play off the ball, attack the rim with that effortless acceleration ability. He's a really good athlete. He's just somebody that doesn't have any holes to his game offensively. If the worst thing we can say about him is we want him to be a better free throw shooter and defend up to his potential, I think he's a pretty good number 1 overall pick.
What are the steps that he needs to take to improve better defensively?
He's got to be checked in. He just doesn't really take immense pride in it right now. He's somebody that has the luxury of kind of coasting and yet still not necessarily recording chase down blocks, but more of jog down blocks, and they still look sensational. And you can jump passing lanes at 50% energy. It's just the game comes so easy to him that he doesn't have to grind on defense. And maybe with less on his plate offensively with the Sixers, with somebody like Simmons and Embiid next to him, he'll ramp up the energy defensively. It's all about energy for him.
It clearly seems like the 9 wins last year was not a concern for you. With the 9 wins and what you saw with them out of Washington, why isn't that a concern for you?
I didn't think he had great talent around him. I thought he had role players, but they weren't guys that were necessarily ready to play those roles on a competitive collegiate team. I didn't think Lorenzo Romar did him any favors. I didn't love the offense. It kind of reminded me somewhat of what NC State was doing, where they just put the ball in Dennis Smith and Markelle Fultz's hands and said, just go do your thing, fill the stat sheet. I'm not really going to coach us to outsmart this team. And that made Markelle Fultz look good, and that made Dennis Smith look good, but it didn't necessarily lead to winning basketball. I mean, I really think that if Markelle Fultz would have had Marquise Chris and DeJounte Murray as sophomores on this Washington Huskies team, if they didn't leave for the draft in 2016, that would have been probably at least a 6 seed in the NCAA tournament.
Who's your player comparison to him? Is there a guy out there that you could compare him to?
He reminds me a lot of Brandon Roy. I think he's got the ability to play both backcourt spots like Roy. Super smooth, deceptive athlete, can score at every level. Somebody that can easily make others around him better with his passing ability, even though he's not going to be pass first. And I think he's got the size where he'll be able to eventually bully guys, especially smaller guards. If you want to get really excited, you could throw out the name James Harden, but he's got a ways to go to be Harden.
Elan Vinokurov with us right now on the Zach Gelb Show. All right, so we see the rumor that Mark Stein and it's also David Aldridge as well had earlier this morning that the Sixers could be in play for trading picks 36 and 39 to move into the 20s. If they do get that deal done and they are picking somewhere in the 20s as well, who are they going to be looking for to target in the 20s?
I would be targeting 2 different players. One, Frank Jackson from Duke, who I think does some similar things to Markelle Fultz, a combo guard. But to me, Frank Jackson is more of a spark plug off the bench, can masquerade as a pseudo-1, can play with T.J. McConnell in your second unit, can defend multiple spots, super explosive, three-point shooting ability. And I think you got to start swinging for home runs, triples with these later picks. We don't have enough space on the roster to just try to get singles and get guys that will stick around. You want to find an impact player back there, even if they have a high bust potential. Another player would be OG Anunoby, who there's a lot of question marks about what he's going to be offensively, if he'll ever be able to score, if the jump shot will get there, if the creation ability will get there, or if he's just too far behind. But in the meantime, he's going to be able to defend potentially 5 positions. He's got tremendous physical tools. The way he moves at his size is uncommon. Crazy length, crazy strength. His brother played in the NFL. This guy's ready to come into the NBA and make an impact defensively. And on this team, that's okay if that's all he's doing early on. Let this player development staff go to work on his offense, and hopefully 4 years from now he surprises us offensively.
Elan, how far do you think Malik Monk falls tonight? Just wondered.
I don't think he falls past 10. There's no way. So I mean, the bigger question is somebody like Donovan Mitchell, Luke Kennard, Zach Collins, are those guys going to move up into the top 10? And if so, are they going to push down a guy like Malik Monk, Dennis Smith, or even like a Frank Ntilikina?
Let me just ask you this, because I love Malik Monk for Philadelphia, and clearly you got to go Fultz number one. But let's just say if he's available in that 9 to 12 range, I know it would require a lot, but what would the Sixers have to give up to try to go get Monk from 9 to 12 if they wanted to move up and make an extra splash?
You probably got to make – I would have to imagine you have to – somebody's going to ask for a Sarge. They're going to ask for a Covington, but you're going to have to try to negotiate that down to maybe a Luawu and a Korkmaz and maybe a future pick. I don't know if you can do it for any cheaper than that.
All right. I also think with this draft coming up tonight, number one, we know Fultz is going. Two, we know Ball is going to be going. I think 3 and 4 is really going to set up this landscape for the rest of the draft. How do you see picks 3 and 4 turning out tonight?
I think Boston takes Jason Tatum.
Agreed.
And then I think Josh Jackson goes for there's been a lot of buzz, obviously, that Boston liked Josh Jackson. Josh Jackson never went out and worked out for them. He did send them his medicals, but I think there's a chance that they're going to look at Jason Tatum, see some similarities to Gordon Hayward. They're not the exact same player, but there are similarities. And they might say, if we strike out on Gordon Hayward in free agency, Jason Tatum's not a bad insurance policy.
How about at number 8? Who do the Knicks take tonight?
I've heard rumors that they would like to get a Luke Kennard there. I think that that's really high for him. I would expect that Malik Monk is the pick, and if not, maybe they look at a guy like Zach Collins.
All right, let me give you one more about the draft coming up tonight. Josh Hart, is he going to go in the first round, late first round, or is he a second-round guy?
Everybody has him in the second round in mocks. I've been saying it probably since January. He's a first-round pick. He's somebody that we haven't heard a lot about because I bet you teams have brought him in for workouts. They brought him in for interviews. Even if he didn't kill the workout, they sat down and talked to him, and they said, I love this kid. He's mentally ready. He's a professional. He's going to get it. This guy's going to be starting for us a couple games when we're in a pinch from injuries, and someone's going to take him in the first round.
And then finally, if you had to give me 6 players, give me your 5 locks in this draft, and then also give me a surprise name that maybe he's not picking up that much steam that you believe could turn into a very good player in the NBA one day.
So, are you saying 5 locks of who I think will be the 5 best players?
Yes, 5 best players in this draft. So Fultz, so clearly, according to your earlier evaluation, then who else?
So I'd go Fultz. Then I would go actually Jonathan Isaac. We've had him 2 for a while now. I think his upside's through the roof, even if he has bust potential. I would put Josh Jackson at 3, Lonzo Ball at 4, and Jason Tatum at 5. The guy that I think could really surprise some people is Bam Adebayo. I don't understand why everybody soured on the kid. It seems like people forgot what he did in high school because Kentucky had him play that Tristan Thompson role. But he's going to get to the league. He's going to be able to switch easily defensively. He has untapped ball handling ability. There's more offensive junk to his game than we saw at Kentucky. He's going to be that rim-running 5-man that is your 5th option early on but develops and loves playing defense, loves hitting the glass. He's going to surprise people. I don't know why he's fallen on people's boards.
Appreciate the insight tonight. And today, Elan, just tell us real quickly what you guys got cooking tonight and a little bit more about the website, all right?
Yeah. So Scout U, we're just doing a little classes. We're going to be teaching kids how to scout, and it'll be a crash course where we take 10 kids, small class interactive. If you're interested, you could always shoot us an email at scoutu@evhoops.com.
Elan, great stuff. We appreciate it. Let's do it again real soon, all right?
Yeah, thanks for having me.